Next on Startup, we head to Nashville, Tennessee to talk with Will, a youth pastor and mentor who created Salemtown Board Company, a business that makes handcrafted skateboards while giving back to the community. Then we swing by Somerset Center, Michigan to talk to Steve, a tenacious visionary on a mission, and the owner of Meckley's, an apple orchard that makes homemade hard cider. All of this and more is next on Startup.
It all starts with an idea, and everyone has them. In the world of business, where you choose to take your idea determines where your idea will take you. Baker College is proud to support Startup and those who dare to share their ideas with the world.
The American small business was built on one thing: relationships. And every time a customer walks through the door, a new one begins. Pay Anywhere was built to help entrepreneurs do what they do best. So keep loving what you do. Just get paid for it. Pay Anywhere.
The Chevrolet Volt, an everyday electric car with gas for longer trips. The nature of things to come. Chevrolet, find new roads.
American Express is proud to support Startup and the millions of small businesses that put in the hard work to be open for business in neighborhoods across the country.
My name is Gary Brado, and I'm a documentary filmmaker and an entrepreneur. The economy is in less than perfect shape, and when the jobs go away, there's nothing left to do but get up and get creative. And there are people all over America doing just that. It's estimated that up to 85% of new businesses fail. So I'm going coast to coast to hear the personal stories of the people who beat the odds and started a successful business from the ground up. This is Startup. I'm on 2nd Avenue North in Nashville, Tennessee. And we're gonna go talk to Will, who created Salemtown Board Company. Now, Will started his career as a social worker, but when he had the chance to create custom skateboards and make a difference in the community, he took that opportunity and hasn't looked back since. Let's go hear his story. Originating in Hawaii, skateboarding began as a training method for surfers and was initially called sidewalk surfing. Today, skateboarding has grown into a billion-dollar industry as a recreational and competitive sport. Will has always been passionate about both skateboarding and social change. With Salemtown Board Company, he's making skateboards and making a positive impact in the lives of Nashville's inner city youth. What's your name and a little bit of information about your background?
Okay, my name is Will Anderson. I moved here to Nashville about 1.5 years ago. I grew up in Central Florida. I had a mom that taught me how to use power tools pretty early on. And so I grew up skateboarding, making skateboards, tacking ramps together out of just different pieces of scrap wood I found around the neighborhood. And then, yeah, when I came here, I had a buddy who came to me and said, "What do you think about starting a skateboard company?" And I said, "That's exactly what I want to do."
Where did you go to school? Did you go to college?
I went to school in East Tennessee at a small school called Bryan College, where I got a philosophy degree. And then I moved to the Boston area, where I actually spent 3 years in seminary. I got a degree, but I'm not ordained or anything. And while I was in seminary, I started working in social work. I knew that I wanted to work with young men. I really had just a heart for young guys in difficult situations.
What kind of person is Will to work for? What kind of guy is he?
Will is a big brother. He's like a father to us, a mentor. How would you try to describe him? Someone who we looks up to. Yeah. He's a big brother to us, basically.
I want to talk about the nuts and bolts of Salemtown. Where were you financially in terms of, your credit, money in the bank? What did it take to get this operation going?
Our business started with a friend giving us $300 and saying, "Good luck." We made a few boards, put together a little Shopify site, and that's how we got started. We'll have people say to us stuff like, "Oh, I'd start a business too, if I had X amount of money." And I'm thinking, we started with literally nothing. There are people who are thinking about starting a business and they're thinking, is it worth the risk? And my thought is, if you're really wrestling with, is it worth the risk? It probably isn't. Because For the entrepreneurs I know who have made it and who love what they're doing, it was never a question of, is it worth the risk? It was always, this is what I have to do.
Skateboarding is good for your health. It can help a person improve cardiovascular strength, balance, flexibility, and coordination. Talking about your logo, your brand, your website, how did that all come about?
In our situation, we had 3 different Nashville creatives who found us and loved what we were doing and hated our branding. And so they sat down with us and helped us completely redo everything. We made all of our design very contemporary, very right now, thinking, we're trying to sell to people right now. So we had to have, these professional design guys sit us down and say, while your business looks cool right now, you don't want to anchor it to right now, because 18 to 24 months from now, you're going to look completely outdated. And so we had to be educated on how do you create a business that serves, in terms of its branding, serves today's market, but isn't anchored to today's market.
Well, your stuff is extremely high end. What did it cost?
Free.
Okay, so the key is design an absolutely horrible website, do a really crappy logo, and then hope somebody comes in, swoops in, and does it for free. That's an awesome strategy.
I think the strategy is more do something that other people love.
Okay.
And so that's what we did. We did something where they looked at it and they said, we love what they're doing, we want to help them.
To have a unique model, and I guess what we would say a start to this, by coming in and trying to take local kids from the neighborhood and bring them in, explain that a little bit and talk about the employees that you have currently.
Yeah, well, our goal from the beginning was, we had people come to us and say, oh, well, why aren't you 501c3? Why are you a business? Why aren't you a nonprofit? And I'm thankful for nonprofits, but I don't want to be a nonprofit. I tell people all the time, I'm a bleeding heart libertarian. I believe in corporate responsibility. I believe in making a change in my community. I just don't believe that the best way to do that are vast programs. And I feel like through the avenue of small business, I'm able to interact with these guys in a way that I wouldn't if I was just the goofy 27-year-old that consistently showed up at the community center to play basketball. Our goal from the beginning has been, how do we create jobs for people who need jobs?
What's one of the top things that you can say that you've learned from him over the course of this time working here?
How to grow up and be a man, be respectful.
Take ownership.
What's been the biggest hardship that you've had to overcome from day one?
I think probably the biggest struggle for us is that we didn't know our industry starting out. And so starting a skateboard company in October and launching in November is a bad idea.
Okay.
Especially if you're not a global company, because if you live within the Northern Hemisphere, from the end of the buying season at Christmas through April, people don't buy skateboards in America.
So what you're saying is make sure that you understand if there is a level of seasonality with your product to dig down deep and get it.
But also, so much of being an entrepreneur, as you know, is about being creative. And so for me, when I look at the winter in the US and see here's 4 months out of the year where I'm probably not going to be making a lot of money, my first thought isn't, oh, well, that sucks. How do I survive 4 months of not making money? My thought is, okay, how do I alter my social media so that I can kill it in Brazil and Australia?
There you go.
Because our summer is their winter.
Approximately 800,000 people are seen by medical professionals annually due to skateboarding injuries. So this could potentially someday be a skateboard, correct?
That will today be a skateboard.
Today.
Today.
Right. I'm very intrigued, interested to learn. Where do we start?
Go ahead and trace that out.
Okay. Nice. That really smooths it out. Love it.
All right. That looks good. Symmetrical. Great. Next step of the process. We're adding the edge on these just to roll the edges just like on a, on a surfboard. So that's what we're going to do here. So at this point, you can see we kind of rounded the edges.
Oh, yeah.
And although it might look like the board is basically 95% done, the hands-on portion of the board is really just beginning, because at this point, I hand it off to the boys.
How did you acquire this space? Because this seems like the perfect workshop for what it is you're doing.
Yeah, the space was totally a fluke. We knew the guy who owns this space and the spaces on either side. We literally just sent the guy an email, said, this is what we're doing, this is what our vision is, can you help us out? And he basically said, let me talk to my lawyers and I'll get back to you. And so we didn't know what that meant. And then about 3 days later, he said, I got a place cleared out for you. We basically have free reign on the space.
You pay no rent?
No rent.
Do you pay utilities?
No utilities. Here's the thing, people.
How does this keep happening to you, man? Free website, free branding, free space. This is a very rare story, just so you know.
It is. I'm not gonna say I don't take it for granted, because I do all the time. If you do something people love, people get in line to help you out.
It's incredibly unique. On that note, let's go ahead and put your brand on a board.
Yeah.
Talking to all the entrepreneurs, would-be entrepreneurs out there, what advice would you give them?
You got to be a little bit crazy. You have to, as I said, you do have to be willing to bleed. But then when I'm able to tell people, hey, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, this is the change that we're hoping to see, this is the effect that we're hoping to have in our employees' lives.
Reminder.
I kind of sit back and I'm like, oh wow, that's something worth doing. Find something that you're excited to tell people about. Because if you're not excited about it, no one else will be excited about it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
There are a million ways to start a business, but how did Will do it? Let's find out. He started with around $300 in the bank and a credit score of around 650. It took $300 to start the business, which he acquired from a friend. He made a profit of around $20,000 in his first year. The one word that Will said he would use to describe what it takes to make it in business is heart.
Will definitely doesn't skate through life, and he doesn't get bored with making a difference in his community. With every new product that rolls out, he's ramping up sales and the self-esteem of inner city youth. Will isn't just making a living, he's making a difference. For more information, log on to our website and click the link for Salemtown Board Company.
Failure to success is hand in hand. I think that you will fail way more than you will succeed, but what happens when you fail is the fact that you learn as you fail. So, every entrepreneur goes through a certain stage. They go through a stage of act, learn, and repeat. And I actually ended up learning that stage when I was an entrepreneur in residence in Babson College, and the dean had wrote a really great book called Just Start.
Another option for you. Okay. See, this might be a little bit more your color.
This one fits perfect. Oh, it feels good too.
Like it was made for you.
I feel very free. What? So I know we're on opposite sides of the fence, but why do you always gotta balk about what you do, huh?
American Express is proud to support startup and the millions of small businesses that put in the hard work to be open for business in neighborhoods across the country.
The Chevrolet Volt, an everyday electric car with gas for longer trips. The nature of things to come. Chevrolet, find new roads.
The American small business was built on one thing, relationships. And every time a customer walks through the door, a new one begins. Pay Anywhere was built to help entrepreneurs do what they do best. So keep loving what you do. Just get paid for it. Pay Anywhere.
It all starts with an idea, and everyone has them. In the world of business, where you choose to take your idea determines where your idea will take you. Baker College is proud to support startup and those who dare to share their ideas with the world.